Welcome to the Dunder-Mifflin Hall of Art. I'm Brandon Baker. I'm the #1 art tour guide in the country. Today we'll be taking a look at Salvador Dali, who is known for his surrealist paintings and the influence he had in the surrealist movement. He was a pretty crazy guy. He was known for driving his car around covered in cauliflower and walking around in a wetsuit. Before he died, he opened up an art museum, and then after he died, he was buried in the basement. Now, let's go take a look at our first painting. The first painting we will be looking at is called Dream Caused by the Flight of a Bee Around a Pomegranate a Second Before Awakening. The title is there just to completely confuse you. Here, you'll see a bear, which has been hibernating, but he will not be waking up anytime soon.
He was so wrong. The title completely explains the content and the subject of the painting. It came from a dream told to Dali. I can't believe him. He completely ruined my favorite painting. The fish's eyes represent a bee's eyes, and the tiger, not a bear, represents the yellow and the black body of a bee. And the bayonet represents the stinger of a bee, obviously trying to sting the woman to wake her up. In the background of my favorite painting, there's an elephant. It's distorted, but it was a well-known sculpture by Bernini in Rome. And I bet of all things that dumbass Brandon didn't know that this painting is also known as an interpretation as the theory of evolution.
This next painting is my favorite. I don't know anything you would ever want to know about it. Cubist Self-Portrait. Just look at it. No words can describe it.
Amazing.
Didn't even mention that this painting was a Cubist painting, unlike his other surrealistic work, but whatever. He didn't explain surrealism at all. He didn't explain that much of the surrealistic work was to do with combining pieces of fantasy and stuff from the unconscious mind into artwork. Also, the surrealist movement was meant to explore how dreams and people's inner psyche is portrayed in artwork. There are also two types of surrealistic artwork. During the surrealistic movement, there was the biomorphic one, which dealt with abstract art resembling organisms, if you will. There was also naturalistic surrealism, which was what Dali mainly used, which was scenery or scenes that were twisted to be dreamlike or something like that.
The next painting in the special exhibit of Dali's work is The Great Masturbator.
That's what she said.
He painted this because of his love for sex.
Nice.
Say the tour guide was right about one thing. Someone likes sex. It wasn't Dali. The painting actually represents Dali's severely conflicted attitude towards sexual intercourse. I would say it was pretty obvious what the tour guide had on his mind. That's sex, because he didn't explain anything that was important in the painting, like the view of the distorted face in profile looking downwards, or even where it was at, which was along the seashore of Catalina. A similar profile is seen at Dali's more famous painting 2 years later, The Persistence of Memory.
The painting that will wrap up our tour today is The Persistence of Memory. This painting is also known as Melting Pots. It shows his love for the kitchen.
You can see that.
Well, the tour guide called it melting pots. Those aren't the type of pots that I've ever seen. It's called melting clocks. This guy's giving me a headache. He forgot to mention this is a really famous surrealist painting that epitomizes the hardness and softness, which was a theory that was well known at this time.